What's up, everybody? Welcome to Friggin Nerds Media, where we bring you guys the nerdy news you guys care about. And today, we're finally talking about it, man. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is out now in theaters everywhere. And man, there's a lot to talk about. We wanted to wait till everyone saw it finally. Me and James got together after we saw the movie on last Thursday and decided let's record this. Let's record our conversation, do our first thoughts, explain the ending of the movie, explain what's to come in the future for the MCU, and all that good stuff. So if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment down below. What'd you guys think of the movie? What do you want to see? What'd you hate? What'd you love? What was okay? Let us know. But without further ado, here's our conversation about Multiverse of Madness. Enjoy.
I don't even know where to start. Okay, just general thoughts about the movie. Just first impressions just coming out. How did you feel coming out to the theater? I know you had like almost 24 hours to think about it, but just your initial reaction coming out of the theater.
So I definitely think, after, breaking down the trailers for so many weeks, I still left surprised at a lot. I definitely wasn't surprised at a lot too, where there were some aspects, I kind of wish we didn't name drop Illuminati directly.
Yeah.
We didn't get that line, like the Illuminati will see you now. We didn't even get that line, really.
No, we did when Mordo came into this cell right before.
I said, did he?
Said, yeah, because he was like, what did Strange is like, what are the Avengers or something? You work for the Avengers. And Morty's like, no, actually, Illuminati is here to see you now. I'm like 90% sure that was.
I thought it was a little variant on that line. But I was like, interesting.
Probably, but something along those lines.
And we didn't even get the it's getting out of hand thing, because we saw, I think Mr. Fantastic says, the last thing Strange said was Strange got out of hand or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the line. That's the line. But he that Strange doesn't even say that line. So I think it's interesting. They did a little bait and switch on those quotes, which I'm going to look out for now.
Which is what you expect from a Marvel thing. They'll do the bait and switch or splice audio in one scene that belongs to a separate, totally other scene. So that makes sense.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, man, I was just like, I re-listened to our podcast about it just to see how close we were when it came to like predictions. We some of us came pretty close. Like a lot of I think we discussed the Illuminati not being a big deal and them getting iced within 5 minutes, and that happened. And I was in the most. This is a Sam.
Brutal.
That was a Sam Raimi movie, dude. That was. I couldn't believe that. Big pop for Black Bolt. Big pop.
Gracious.
I think that was the most brutal death. Was him with the little nods of the Matrix there. I was like, wow.
That and the cutting in half.
Oh yeah. All of them went down rough, like geez.
Yeah. But okay, so before we get into the things, all right. Good, bad, ugly, like overall movie before we dive into details. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Alicia's brother put it the best way. He did feel like a lot of this movie at the end of the day did seem like spinning tires a little bit. Like we are getting big stuff, obviously. Like what to say this now, we're gonna get Secret Wars for sure. But I think it was a lot of like lot of build there. We got excited to see the Illuminati. That was great. That's a big flex, if anything, from Marvel. It's like, this is what we own now. This is what we got. This is what we can show you. I joked at it because Alex is the one who does not watch trailers. He didn't know anything about this movie going in, and we had dinner beforehand. And I was like, Alex, I'm just curious. What do you think is going to happen in this movie? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe they'll show the Illuminati or something. Maybe they'll have that story of like, all different universes that have been destroyed in the past. I think maybe they'll bring that up. But it's a brutal book, and so maybe I don't know if MCU would do that. I
Yeah.
kind of lean to Lee. I'm like, man, he's on to something.
Yeah.
And but I joke that like, oh, this movie almost was a giant trailer for you because now you know what's coming up at the end.
Yeah.
But I was so excited to see what's her name? She was in James Bond that played Captain Marvel. What's her name?
Oh, yeah. I forgot the actress. Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's Rambo.
Yeah, so she was the mom originally, and then like I know her recently from No Time to Die, and I was like
Yeah, that's right.
I
She
was
was agent. She was 007 in No Time to Die. That's right.
yeah, so I was really excited to see her because I was excited to see the daughter because I think I made a point on the podcast. I was like, oh, it'd be nice to have them go against Wanda after WandaVision, but I'm like
Yeah, after everything that went down.
But I like this better because like we never got to see her in action much, you know, and so let's get that going a little bit. And there's still that kind of weird, like we got that hint of her, like our version of her isn't on good terms with our Captain Marvel, so we don't know about that. So this actress can come back and do more stuff, which I hope she does. She's fantastic.
Everybody can come back now.
Yeah, and man, like, oh, did you cry a little bit when Mr. Fantastic's talking about his wife and kids, and then she asks, "Oh, is your wife still alive?" And he says, "Yes." I got a little excited there. I was like,
"Oh man, yeah." I am a mixed bag with the Illuminati and the movie overall as of right now. I'm going to see it again, and I think I might have a better clarity about my feelings for the movie. If I had to give like a score, because Joel hit me up and he texted me. He's like, "All right, what's your score?" And it was like 1, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, all right, 7.5 or 8. That's where I'm at right now. Maybe a 8.5, depending on, the time of day or whatever. But overall, fun. It's fast. It's nonstop. You don't really have a time to just chill or whatever. I will say, for those who are like scared or who doesn't like horror stuff, this might not be the MCU movie for you. And I'm one of those people, so I found myself doing this half the time.
I honestly was thinking of you. Like there were some of the scary parts. I'm like, man, James must be having a time with us.
Yo, it was so. I mean, I've learned over the few years, like if it starts to get quiet, and you just start hearing little stuff in the background, something's about to happen, a jump scare or whatever with the sound and the image. So I was like this, which eventually ended up taking me out of the movie, kind of, because I didn't know where the jump scares were. So I couldn't be as invested because I'm looking over my shoulder half the time looking for the jump scares. But that being said, the parts where I could just watch and enjoy the movie, I enjoyed it. And I mean, Raimi, the first scene with the eye, the octopus eye, gargantua, whatever they want to call it, that felt like Spider-Man 2 on the cliff and like on the side of the building, America about to fall off like Aunt May and stuff, and Doctor Strange and Wong going up. That felt like Spider-Man trying to save Aunt May, like classic Sam Raimi, like the whole little scene. So I enjoyed the horror elements. I was talking to Joel and I was like, yo, there was 3 aspects of this movie I cheered and got hyped about, and 2 of them I was the only one in the theater I was excited about. So the first one is the obvious cameo of Doctor Strange. I mean, of Dr. Reed Richards and Black Bolt. Those are the 2 I screamed the loudest for. I was like, they did it. I can't believe they did it. They did it. They're here. And I was like, they got Anson Mount, the original Black Bolt from the ABC and Humans series that failed. I was like, they brought him back and he's in full gear. I screamed on that one. So that's the first one. The second one was when Reed Richards said that one word, incursions. I lost my mind. That one, I was the only one. I was like, oh, snap, let's go. I was the only one who portrayed or yelled when that scene happened. And then the final one was when Doctor Strange took over the dead Doctor Strange, or the Defender Doctor Strange, at the end. And Rachel McAdams' character, his love interest, I forgot her name, was like, Strange, it's something with the mystic arts. You can control the mystic arts. Like, this is nothing for you. And then he starts controlling the demons and stuff, and they eventually turn into his cape. And I started screaming. I was like, let's go, because that is literally what he does in the comic books. Like, a lot of this stuff you were seeing in the first movie and past movies, you'll see him like use magic and do Leviosa half the time, or pull something, or use his sling blade and like grab stuff. No, he's grabbing stuff, and you got a little taste of that in the first scene where he's like has these huge hands coming out of nowhere and grabbing stuff. I was like, that's a creature he's using. That's a creature from a different dimension. He can control these things. This is what he's known to do. So for him to switch it up with those dead things and like, no, I can control you. Like, yo, this is my MO. This is what I do all the time in the comic book. So I was hyped when that happened. But I mean, Raimi's direction, even though it's not for me in regards to the horror element, was perfect for Doctor Strange. And so it was cool to see his flexibility. And I think MCU and Feige overall letting Raimi flex and get his cinematography and his directing on, and even the shots between the different dimensions and the action scenes overall. Like, one of the best action scenes I think in Marvel MCU history is that one scene with the music notes.
Oh yeah.
And they were fighting. It's just doom, doom. And the sound composition of the music, I was just like, this is creative. But it's weird also. And I was like, creative, weird, trippy, something unexpected. That's Doctor Strange. Like, that was Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. So, like, I mean, it was good. It was a good movie overall. I will say the stuff I did not like was the Illuminati. You didn't need them. You did not need them. They were just there to show that, hey, this is what's coming. And I mean, or maybe even show how strong Wanda is or whatever, and lead into other stuff. But all the stuff they talked about, whether it was incursions or the other Doctor Strange or whatever, he could have learned that from Rachel McAdams' character, his love interest. He could have learned that from Mordo in the Sanctum Sanctorum in the other, Earth 843 or whatever it was. He could have learned all that information from those two characters, because we know those two characters and there's investment there. So you didn't need the Illuminati like at all. They were just there just to be there. And those characters like that, I was very upset about that, because they just, hey, we had the Illuminati. You guys like the Illuminati. Comic nerds, we're going to be talking about it for years until this movie comes out, because we're excited to see the Illuminati. And then they're in there for 15 minutes, like 10 minutes max. So I'm a fan of the Illuminati. I'm a fan of Jonathan Hickman. We were talking about it earlier. Like, everybody's talking about Secret Wars, but not talking about Time Runs Out, which we have here. Like, everything that leads up the New Avengers, Jonathan Hickman's run. I mean, Original Sin, all of those things that lead up to Captain America losing his memory, that Doctor Strange wiped it out because he didn't want to take out another planet, because they tried to using the Infinity Gauntlet when the incursions were happening. All of that information leads into Secret Wars, but everybody's right now, Secret Wars, Secret Wars, Secret Wars, Secret Wars. No. You need to check out Time Runs Out and the New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman leading into it, because the Illuminati is so present, because there's a storyline with the Illuminati and the incursions and people trying to stop the Illuminati because they can't be trusted. And there's a lot of stuff. And so I hated the treatment of the Illuminati. Cool to see. Excited, like I said, one of the three things I yelled in the theater, it was when I saw Black Bolt and Reed Richards, but I hated the treatment of them. But overall, fun movie, exciting, and definitely going to see it again tomorrow. And just trying to see if my feelings change now that I'm not going to be covering my eyes, because now that I know. Wanda was obviously a standout.
Yeah.
Her acting, Elizabeth Olsen, did great. I mean, everybody did great. It's just overall story for me.
Yeah, talking about Doctor Strange movies, this stomps the first one. Obviously, like this was
Right.
insanity. But yeah, I mean, talking about that run, I was trying to remember for hours. I know it was time something. Time runs out. I mean, that seems to be where they're going. With Clea
Yes.
showing up at the end. I mean, that's
Yeah.
mostly where she shows up. So I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do. Like, this is probably gonna be the next big event, like end game level. Is good,
Right.
probably Secret Wars, but I'd like them to build on this a bit.
Lead into it.
There's this, I feel like they are getting a little too cluttered now. With we're still dealing with Kang, we're still dealing with so many other things, and like, yes, Kang's involved in those stories, but we just I feel like we need to, like, let it burn a little slower now, because now, like, again,
Yeah.
Illuminati, we got them for a second. Like, I could see them, like, I don't want them to do this again, but like, I feel like they're going to do another Illuminati. Like, just
They
to
are.
be like, like we showed you this Illuminati. Like, the Illuminati could happen. This is
Yeah.
what we showed you. But I feel like they could
Yeah.
do another one, like, because it's interesting to have, because Steve Rogers was a part of the Illuminati. We got Peggy Carter instead, so
Yep.
it's kind of
Yep.
like they kind of have to bend to their own will, where they're like, oh well, we can't do Steve Rogers anymore because we killed him.
Yeah.
And there's other things they didn't do the Submariner and stuff like that. They couldn't do that. Yeah, it's like there's a lot. Like,
well, is he technically dead, Steve Rogers, or is he just old?
well, then they have. I mean, they have the funeral for him at, in Falcon.
Oh, that's right, they did in Falcon. That's right. The memorial.
But multiverse. I mean, you can bring back anybody.
Well, yeah, you can pull from you can. Yeah,
because Peggy Carter's dead too, technically. I mean, and
yeah,
they made her Captain UK or whatever.
Do you think that's the same one from What If? Because I think it's somebody different.
That was the thing, man. Because that was one of the questions on our questionnaire. Is like, is that the What If one? And they didn't really confirm or deny, but it could be, because I mean, the way she ends in What If, like, I mean, she goes, they have like the whole multiverse, like Defenders with Thor and all them against Ultron, but we don't see what happens after she gets out, because Nick Fury finds her instead of Steve Rogers in New York, and she gets thawed out, and then and they start the Avengers Initiative. So we don't know what that looks like, that version of the Avengers. So I'm thinking,
or even when the timelines in comparison to that What If ending and where Doctor Strange happens.
Yeah, so something else. So we could have had another Avengers run that we don't know, we haven't seen yet, or we could have a, like, was this Illuminati built off those Avengers? You know what I mean? That's the thing. It seems like all these, because my theory was all these Illuminati members were from different universes, but it looks like they're in that same universe right here.
They're all in that one.
So we have an Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters there. We have the Fantastic Four. It's like, what is going on in this universe?
Or do we, though? Or do we? Like, maybe, did he make the Xavier School, or did he just become part of the Baxter Foundation? Because a fourth thing I screamed was when Rachel McAdams' character said, yeah, you're in the Baxter building or whatever. And I was like, yo, they're going to do it. Like, so I hoped it was, but when she said that, so, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think that's the same Captain Britain or Peggy Carter from What If, because we know we're getting a season 2 of What If. And I don't see them introducing Peggy Carter's Captain Britain and What If, and then immediately killing her off in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and then expecting everyone to be like okay when What If season 2 comes, when she was a integral part of that team that took down Infinity Ultron, so like, I don't think it's the same one. I think it's different ones. That's and I felt the same way with Doctor Strange too. Like the one that had the third eye before our Doctor Strange Earth 616 got his. I didn't think that was the one from What If. Even though there's themes of What If, I didn't think they were the same ones. I think this is a Earth whatever 800 and something. Captain Carter, Black Bolt, Professor X, all of them in this confined universe, which also makes me upset because I didn't feel like there was a lot of multiverse stuff. We only visited what, 2, 3
Like 3
other
altogether, yeah.
places. You know what I'm saying? Now we got splash pages of like when America and Captain and Stephen Strange were going through the different dimensions and multiverses. We see the Living Tribunal and them in paint and then as animated and stuff like those were cool, but we really didn't spend that much time in different locations or multiverses. Like we met two the other Stephen Stranges, the Defender one and then the Dark one. The other one that they referenced for Earth 8 Force, whatever, where the Baxter building is, we saw him. So they introduced 3 and we saw in the movie, but one of them was just talked about and shown for like a second before Black Bolt took him out, which was very cool.
Yeah.
He says, "I'm sorry." It just came out. I was like, oh, I got chills seeing that. But it didn't feel as multiversal. The madness was there, but it didn't feel as multiversal to me. Which was as fast as this movie was, I was surprised about. We stayed a long time in like specific places, and max 3 at the max to me. So, I'm trying to digest how I felt overall, and my score might go up or stay the same after a second viewing, but I'm not gonna lie, I expected more. The incursions, like they just kept referencing it, but they didn't talk about it. They didn't break it down. So for a casual viewer watching the movie, you're just like, okay, these other Earths from different, universes are coming together and they're going to crash. How's that happening? What causes this? Does going through the multiverse cause this to happen? So why didn't it happen when America Chavez did it? Is she the exception? Did Wanda cause this? Because Wanda was going through different multiverses as shadow walking, but everybody's blaming Stephen Strange. So like, what are the rules? They introduced this new concept, but what are the actual rules? I know the rules from what the comic books are, but it seems they changed it because the incursions wasn't caused by Stephen Strange. The incursions were caused by the Beyonders wiping out everybody and destroying Molecule Man. So like, again, as fast as it was going, I do wish that runtime was kind of extended more to breathe and talk about these new concepts, these important concepts that this movie introduces that leads to bigger and broader and more fantastical things in the future for the MCU. And so when it came to at least the multiverse or even Illuminati or even incursion stuff, it felt like a trailer. But you also had a standalone Doctor Strange and Wanda Scarlet Witch movie. So again, I don't know if all of those fit well together, but I wish there was more. Because this is short. Not short for a Sam Raimi movie, but short for a Marvel movie. Sam Raimi usually hangs around the 2-hour 6, 2-hour 13 between that time frame with his movies from Spider-Man 2, The Wizard of Oz movie he did, which was his last movie, and the other ones early on. So I don't know. How did you feel about the multiverse stuff?
Well, I thought that too. I was like, man, I wish we saw more stuff. Like, because like, that list of like theories we had,
Right.
Mike doubled down on Tom Cruise or any kind of Iron Man showing up. We got no Iron Man. And we didn't get any Vision. Like, there's a lot of characters we didn't see. Like, that was the first thing I said at the end. I'm like,
that's right.
I was like, where's Vision? Like,
I totally forgot about that.
Of all people to like really, because I was waiting for like the scene when she takes over the other Wanda in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was
right.
If this is me writing a scene where I was like, when she's kneeling on the ground and crying and like, or like, you know, that around that time, I wanted the front door to open and I
Mm,
wanted Vision
mm.
to come in, like coming back from work, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What's going on?" And
Yeah.
like, you know, I was waiting for something like that. Like, you know, why is she
That's
by
so
herself?
true.
Like, there's no dad in any situation. You know, it's like I'm like, this is that's the money maker right there. We got to see.
Yeah.
White Vision's been flying around for like almost a year and a half. We don't know where he is,
Yeah.
and you
That's
know,
so true. I totally forgot. Where was he? Like, you only saw Wanda and the kids. You didn't see
like
Vision at
I thought
all.
they were going to use him as a plot device to help her like snap out of it.
Calm down. Yeah.
Instead, America Chavez is the one that has to like go over and be like, "Oh, hey, let me show you how much of a monster you're being." And then
Yeah.
and she's like, "Okay, yeah, maybe I'm getting a little
which was
crazy."
a great scene.
Yeah,
Powerful scene. But yeah, your version would have been way better.
like something like, you know, like you're giving us this is like almost like a sequel to WandaVision, you know.
Oh yeah. It's
So
2.0. Yeah.
like I was expecting something like that. We didn't get any and I was shocked that both end credit scenes were Doctor Strange. I feel like that was kind of overkill in a way, because I liked that they gave a cliffhanger of the eye and that was it. But then they give
And
us
then
5 minutes later, he's like, "I'm fine,"
I'm
and
fine.
and we get a new character that nobody's gonna know who that is, and we're like, "Oh, okay, well, what now?" And so you kind of, for us now, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
now they confirmed what they're gonna do.
Right.
But casual, I told you in our text earlier, I was like, I heard people behind me whispering, "Who is that? Who is that?
Yeah.
Who is that?"
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was I didn't know, because I thought it was Black Swan.
I thought
I
you
thought
just,
it was the Black
I
Swan.
thought she was one of the Eternals for some reason. Like I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
so I
yeah.
was like, is this a variant of like the Eternals or something? Because like I was like, I was just trying to wrap my head around it. So I'm like, let me look into this. I think I've seen her somewhere before. I looked up all the books and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is like Strange's
When
wife
I
at one point.
saw Dormammu's world universe where she came from, then I was like, wait. And I was trying to like remember, and I was like,
Isn't she like Dormammu's like daughter or something, or niece?
niece.
Like I
And
mean, I doubt this
she ends
version
up
is.
becoming, well, yeah, depends on how they do this version.
Yeah.
She ends up becoming Mrs. Stephen Strange, and I think I'm pretty sure she's like the sorcerer supreme for that universe or something. But there's a falling out between Dormammu and Clea. So, but I'm not gonna lie, because she came in and was talking about incursions, and the Black Swan are in like every multiverse talking about the incursions before it actually happens. So when she came in, I was like, yo, are they going to do the incursions now? Because that was my first, because the Black Swan is like pale, like blackish and white, but I mean, I was like, they might do blonde, and you know what I'm saying, and like the straight hair. I was like, yo, are they doing the Black Swan? She doesn't look like, she doesn't dress like it, but she said incursions, and that just immediately, that was where my mind went. But again, once I saw the background, I was like, wait. And so we were actually talking in the theater, and it was like, oh, okay, Clea. I was like, okay, what's her name's his wife? So I was like, that makes sense to introduce her, because was it Christine, I think, is the love interest, Rachel McAdams' character. But anyway, Doctor Strange and her, they kind of like, you know, like everything's good between them now. There's like no like, man, I really want you. There's no longing. It's just like, hey, like, I love you. I love you. We'll always love each other. We just can't be together. And everything is cordial. Everything is cool. So then they introduced the main love interest, who he's going to marry, and the end credits. So I was like, okay, I can dig that. That was cool. This is still a Doctor Strange movie and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
A
but
lot of people are not going to know who that is, though.
yeah, and like I said, I wish we didn't get that. Like, you know, and like that could have been a Thor: Love and Thunder after credit scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like have that show up, because like, you know, again, like, you know, Raimi kills it with the cliffhangers, But it's just like, yeah. Then they kind of like said, no, let me catch you at the bottom. Let me explain a little more about what's happening. And like, well,
Yeah.
okay. And I called it. My boy Bruce Campbell showed up. That was great. But I was kind of like, because like after that credit scene, I'm like, what are they going to show after that? I'm like, all right, they gave us a gag at the end. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's Raimi's boy. I was glad to see him there because
I got a pop from me. I got a huge pop from me, but I was the only one who popped at that. And people started like, oh, I know who he is, you know. And
yeah.
I was like, holy crap! But
Uh,
yeah.
I'm trying to. Okay, so how did you like? I know you talked about like Wanda and everything. How did you like her as a villain?
I thought, man, I was like, she fooled me in that field at the beginning, man. Like, I was like, wow, they're going straight into it. I thought it was gonna be a slow burn, but like right away, it's like, no, like she's in the fucking burnt field.
You didn't say her name, did you? She's like, you didn't say her name.
When that happened, I said that in my head too. Like before she said it, I was like, wait, he didn't tell her who she was, and then when she said that, I was like, oh shit. And then when she did that, I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. And
yeah, she was Elizabeth Olsen did great. They did good with her portrayal, the action with her character Scarlet Witch on Comatage and stuff, and like that one scene when she's like whispering into the dude's ear to run.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, it took me right back to Age of Ultron when she was messing with everybody's heads and stuff and going in there. Because you hadn't really seen her do that in a minute. Utilize that aspect of her powers. So for her to go in there and start manipulating cats and stuff and everything, like she was scary. And I think that's why I'm like iffy with her in the movie, because I had my eyes closed half the time. Like when they were in Comatage, like inside in the water scene, I was just like, you just kept hearing drips and stuff and they're breathing. I was like, she's going to jump out the water. Something like, oh no, she's going to jump out the water.
Like zooming into the door. I'm like, this.
Yes.
And she comes up the side. I was like, oh
yes. I was like, yo, stop. And then she was coming out that thing like all weird.
Yeah.
I was like, what in the world? Like, he is going crazy. And so like, yo, they went weird with her. They went witchy. They went chaotic magic with her, like big time, and more so than I anticipated. And I know this is the Darkhold, doing all of this and stuff, so that makes sense. But she going back to the Illuminati, I like her assault on Comatage, but Steven teaches her Steven teaches her how to do stuff. So this Stephen Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme Wong is. So Steven is still learning, and I'm getting the feeling that I got with Spider-Man in the MCU. The frustration that why aren't we where we're supposed to be with this character? So I'm thinking I'm going to find out with these 3 movies eventually for Doctor Strange that eventually he's going to become Sorcerer Supreme. And this is kind of like a prequel or a lead up to him being the Doctor Strange that we all know and love from the comics. That's this feeling I'm getting because I'm getting frustrated. I am getting frustrated because Doctor Strange is no joke. Doctor Strange is no joke at all. Dude has he can memorize stuff by looking at anything, which going back to the Darkhold, I think he might have memorized a lot of pages in his head, which is how he can control a lot of stuff. But anyway, I didn't buy the power level they had Wanda in. I understood it, and for the story, I got it because of the Darkhold. It might have not been all her. There's a prophecy involved with her character, Scarlet Witch, and then of course the Darkhold giving her ample powers and allowing her to do a lot of stuff. That being said, I did not buy how powerful she was, especially in front of the Illuminati. because it's the Illuminati, because Reed Richards is smart enough to not try to talk Wanda out of doing what she wants to do. He's smart enough that, yo, I can't talk her out of this. Let me step back, formulate a plan. I'm not going to be cocky. Black Bolt is not cocky. Black Bolt is meticulous and thinks and knows how to like do stuff. And so those two particularly, which were the ones I was excited about, I did not buy how fast she took them out, which were the first two people she took out with the Illuminati. So that being said, she killed it. She was, I mean, Elizabeth Olsen did great, but I'm having trouble reconciling between what I know and what I'm shown. And so if I can take that out and try to suppress what I know, I think I would have enjoyed the movie a lot more than I did with some of the stuff.
I mean, that's me with Star Wars. You know, it's like, you know, you watch those.
Yes.
That's why we don't like the Disney trilogy so much, because of how much we know about Star Wars.
Yes.
And same thing with Marvel. It's like, you know, they have that entertainment value and they want to, like, you know, pop the audience, but at the same time we're like, we don't know what's happening.
And like I always assumed this was a different Marvel universe. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not Earth 616. Maybe the comics is Earth 616 and this is a different one. But they went on and confirmed this was Earth 616. They're just like, yo, that's exciting. This is the focal point of everything now. But at the same time, I was like, treat my boys better. But I mean, it was fun. I will see this at least 2-3 times, just because it's a lot of fun, and I feel like I missed a lot because it was just like an experience, and between that, it'll cover my eyes. I want to go back and make sure I don't miss anything. I'm sure there are going to be multiple breakdowns and stuff from other content creators who is like Real Rejects, y'all boys, Eric Voss. My boy, I cannot wait to hear from Rob Jefferson over at Comics Explained or Geek Culture Explained or something like that. So I'm excited to hear those heavy spoilers and those type of people hear their breakdowns, insight, emergency, awesome. But that being said, what are you excited about moving forward with what they introduced in this movie?
I do think they're going to do Secret Wars well. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm curious to see like who they involve in that. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, with, you know, like, yeah, we got these characters in the Illuminati for a second, but, you know, we're going to definitely, Fantastic Four is happening. We know that.
Right.
I want to see what they do with the X-Men.
Yes. How they're going to bring them in.
Yeah, because, like, you know, I mean, like, you know, like, again, we're talking about like how very little the multiverse we saw in this movie shows me they're just gonna, they're not showing us everything for a reason.
Slowly
So,
into it. Yeah.
You know, like, you know, back home where Professor X is from, you know, they have a whole, probably they might have a full school there. You know, we don't know, or as another universe. You know, I mentioned in the podcast how they are rebooting the cartoon. So I feel like that wasn't an accident, having, you know, him with the yellow gimmick and the green suit. I feel like it's a nod to the cartoon because they're going to be rebooting it. So I wonder if they're going to involve things in the MCU in the cartoon, because, you know,
they showed the cartoon universe.
Yeah, and I mentioned, you know, the Miles Morales movies too. You know, are they going to do that?
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So, Secret Wars, that's what everybody's talking about. But time runs out. Jonathan Hickman's Avengers, New Avengers, Infinity, all of that. Check it out. Even check out the 89, I think it is, 88 or 89, Secret Wars 2, whatever. The reason I bring that up, because you brought up Miles Morales. Spider-Man. He's definitely going to be involved in Secret Wars. Okay. I'm assuming. He's a big IP. I mean, Spider-Man, like, you have to involve him. So there's two things with Spider-Man, and I'm going to talk about this with other characters, but two things with Spider-Man, specifically with Secret Wars. In the 2015 version, the Jonathan Hickman run, Miles Morales is from the Ultimate universe. He's not in the Earth 6161. He's one of the few survivors that make it to Battle World on a stowaway ship, along with the other version, the evil version of Reed Richards, Namor, and some of these other cast. But anyway, at the conclusion of Battle World Secret Wars, everything gets put back to where it goes. Reed Richards and his family is fixing the universe and all that other stuff. And Miles Morales is now a part of the Earth 616 universe with Peter Parker at the end of that Secret Wars. So this could be how they do that. So that's just referencing the 2015 with Miles Morales. Now, the 89 or 88 version of Secret Wars, the old school one, a lot of people don't realize that's where Spider-Man got his black suit. So this could also be where we get Miles Morales, and because they maybe can merge both Secret Wars stories and kind of put it as their own little one, kind of getting Easter eggs from each one and bringing it together for the MCU. So the MCU could bring Miles Morales in this one and get the black suit Spider-Man without even having to use the symbiote, without having to use Sony at all. And they could do their own thing with Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man belongs to Sony, so they couldn't really go without Sony, but they could get the black suit Spider-Man without having to need the symbiote. Which when I figured that out, I was just like, yo. And then also at the conclusion of Battle World or Secret Wars, the 2015 one, there's a new, because everything's destroyed. Everything. There's nothing. There's no multi-universes. There's nothing. It's just Battle World. It's just Battle World. That's it. It's it. Nothing in the grand scheme of forever. There's nothing. It's just Battle World because everything collapsed. It's like a dying star that collapses and turns into a supernova and forms a black hole. It's just Battle World. So at the end of that, well, boy, Reed Richards, the family, Fantastic Four, Valeria, and what's his son, Franklin. Them and Molecule Man, Owen Reese, they go out and start creating different universes. Them by doing that, you start seeing a new creation story with the different universes, particularly with the Living Rock Tribunal, particularly with Eternity. And so you start to see different versions of Infinity, which again creates a new creation story now, because Battle World, at the end of Battle World, that's the new Big Bang now. And so MCU could use this as a way to show how things got started again, instead of going back and using Eternals, for example. And like in the beginning, the Celestials was here, but we never got introduced to the cosmic hierarchy. Secret Wars could be a way, depending on when they do Secret Wars, maybe we might get Eternals 2 before Secret Wars, I don't know. But depending on how they use it, this could be a way to introduce the new cosmic hierarchies that are in, here we go. They are in Ultimates. This is a new creation story. And so I got like, I started trembling a little bit because I was just like, don't mess up my boy Al Ewing's run with the Ultimates, especially with America Chavez, because this lineup has Blue Marvel, America Chavez right there, who can go into multiverses, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, and Photon. And there's a lot of black people in this story, but these cats are like the Space Avengers. They're more powerful than the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they go into multiverses and start fixing stuff. So there's a lot of stuff they could do just because they mentioned the one word, which is incursions. Because all the stuff I just mentioned, came after about Secret Wars. All those stuff with Spider-Man, with the new creation, all of that happened because of the incursions that was happening. So um I think I'm like Eternals. I'm more excited to what's to come than what the story that was told in this movie. I think. No, I am. I am. I was more excited about what's to come than what the story they were telling in this movie. To me,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean that's
they could do so much, Mario. They could do so much, so much. And I haven't even gotten to Thor, the Thor core in Battle World and everything. And so that's how they could like bring in the X-Men, because it's multiple universes crashing, coming together, and they go to war with each other because what was it? Kang even talked about like each universe is trying to destroy the other one so that their universe can survive. So it gets to a point when all of them collide and like boom, and there's nothing left but Battle World, which God King Doom is running everything. And I was like, if I think they might do Kang in Doom's role, if they're adapting the Jonathan Hickman's 2015 run of Secret Wars. But I hope it's Doctor Doom, and I hope Molecule Man is there, and I hope this is how they introduce Doom. I really do. They're going to introduce him obviously in the Fantastic Four movie, which is the last Phase 4 movie, I think, for Phase 4, which makes sense. Fantastic Four, Phase 4, whatever. But God King Doom kind of just shows how OP and how BA Doctor Doom is in the Marvel villain hierarchy overall. He's one of the top ones. So I think they might save that role for Kang as the one who's ruling Battle World, but I hope they do it with Doom because there's one scene where he just takes Thanos' spine and just rips it out. Thanos, the guy who stood in front of Black Bolt as he like unleashed his voice and withstood it and just stood there, then pummeled him to the ground while looking for his son so he can kill his son. That Thanos, God King Doom, just boop, take your spine and just disintegrate. So, um, yeah,
yeah, I mean it's a good way to think about it because like for so long we're like we're thinking Marvel's been a thing for a while, the MCU, and where can they go? And literally they can reset if they need to. They can just bring new, we'll have Marvel characters in cinematic versions for years. You know what I mean?
yes,
Even if it's not the
yep,
same actors. You know what I mean?
yep.
The multiverse can do anything. Which I was like, when they first started messing with multiverse, I'm like, how are they gonna do it? How are they gonna write this? Like it's a lot to take in, a lot to a lot of puzzle pieces to align properly. It's
And
gonna
they
be
don't have to
insane.
look alike either.
Yeah,
The variants,
I mean, look,
they don't have to look alike.
we got a female Captain America, we got a male Captain America, we got how many different Reed
Loki.
Richards, we got Loki's. Like, oh my god, oh man, I want to see, I want to see, I want to see what her universe looks like. If she's Loki, who else is there? You know what I mean? All these.
What are they doing about this? What do does Sylvie? Because Sylvie's sitting in the chair where Kang was now. She's kind of like running things, or did she leave it? I forgot how it ended. What was her decision? She killed Kang,
Stat.
which changed stuff. But is she still at the point of no return, or did she leave?
I think she's still in there because I think then, we get the stab, and then
Yeah,
we cut back to Loki gets back to the TVA,
yeah,
and everyone's doesn't know who he is, and there's Kang
yeah.
statues everywhere.
Okay,
So
and then the timeline is like splintering.
yeah, so we
So
don't
my
see
thing
what happens to
is,
Sylvie.
it feels different because the timeline and multiverses are two different things. So how does that work? Because is there just a Nexus event, or is there like a main timeline that leads into Secret Wars, but there's still like the main timeline that's supposed to, like, I don't know how that works and how Loki falls into this, especially with what he knows. Because again, multiverses and timelines are two different things. But that's where the madness started, I guess. So I I don't know where Loki's story, especially with the TVA, are they watching what's happening with the multiverse? With these incursions, are they trying to stop it? Like, how does there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions. And so I that just came to mind.
Yeah, because that's the thing too. I'm trying to think of all these timelines of like, because guys go on YouTube and they'll like compare like when like Venom showing up in the hotel room happened at the same time that Doctor Strange did the thing with Peter, but then there's like the whole deal with Wanda hearing stuff in the WandaVision and and then the Kang stabbing and all that. So like but is it confirmed that those all happened at the same time? It's like, because now it's like you question who did it first.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no answer to that.
Exactly.
And we're gonna get Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Yeah, Quantumania.
Like, what's like what universe is Ant-Man in now? Like we have no idea what's happening on Earth. Last time we went to Earth, we saw Bucky and Falcon fixing a boat. Like they have no idea what's going down. Like there's so much happening.
I'm like, okay, I'm assuming all of this is after Hawkeye, right? Like the stuff that happens to Doctor Strange, but the stuff that happened with Spider-Man between No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, like how much time has passed between those?
Yeah, because Hawkeye must be like maybe a year or months before Spider-Man, because that's where we get the posters for the musical we see in Spider-Man, but we also I think you hear on the radio, it's something you hear them starting construction on the Statue of Liberty
right
shield
for Stephen Captain America.
Yeah, so it's so weird because like that happened at the same time as Falcon and Winter Soldier, Falcon and whatever Bucky.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
So like those Earth things, like those were the last bits before it started getting nuts, because like, man, like they're trying to build off the what do you call it, the what's the variant, not the variant, like not the Dark Avengers,
the Young Avengers,
the one with
with the other Captain America,
what they call
with the other Captain America and Yelena and them,
Thunderbolts or whatever.
Thunderbolts, yeah,
like,
with Baron Zemo and them, yep.
Yeah, so like they're still we're building on that, which was fine, and we're like assuming that Abomination or something would show up, but now all this is happening, like that's not important anymore. It's like, how are they going to fit that in if they're planning on it? Like there are these little things that like they're like, oh, we introduce all this bull crap, but like who cares about that? We just saw Rita Richards and Professor X. Like who cares about the Thunderbolts?
Seriously, like I love Shang-Chi, but I'm like, what is he going to do?
Yeah,
it's like all of this. Yeah,
because we got that end credit scene. What's that mean? Bruce Banner, who's regular Banner again. We never got that. We'll probably get the explanation in She-Hulk, maybe.
Yeah. And Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel is gone.
And all of them were there at the end credit scene when they were trying to figure out where the rings came from and what type of magic or energy or technology are they, and they're trying to figure that out. So I'm just like, okay, I'm literally thinking about all of these shows and these recent movies the past year and a half, and like how they all tie in. So like we know, like you mentioned, the Steve Rogers Memorial or Statue of Liberty, whatever, is being built. It's still being built in No Way Home. Is it finished in Hawkeye or no? Because at the end of No Way Home, Spider-Man swinging around and it's Christmas, which is when Hawkeye happens.
I think those are a year apart. I think that's the Christmas. I think that's the Christmas after the Kingpin and Hawkeye stuff.
Okay.
Because it's not, because the statue's not even done. There's still scaffolding on
there is.
So I would assume something like that would take a minute to take care of. So it might be like, maybe a few years, because there's no way. That's the thing that just drives me crazy about some of these movies too. It's like when stuff goes down like this, it's mostly always in New York, and you got like 10 superheroes in New York at all times. Where was Spider-Man when the giant octopus showed up? You know what I mean? Which they mentioned him, which that shook me a little bit too. I mean, he didn't say, when he said, what was the last time he did the multiverse? Oh, there was an issue with Spider-Man, and I'm like, he remembers Spider-Man, but
he doesn't remember who he is.
Yeah,
he doesn't remember Peter Parker,
but he remembers that the multiverse thing happened. So it's like, interesting. It's just like,
that was a nice tidbit. And then him mentioning the Avengers and like, we got a bunch named after insects, and then like some other ones. That was funny. I'm with you. It's hard to be invested on the Earth-based problems when we just unlocked the universe with Eternals, and then the multiverse with the timeline with Loki, and then the multiverse of Madness. It's kind of hard to be invested with what's going on Earth when you're slowly being introduced into space stuff. But to be fair, I think that's what the TV shows are for, Earth-based stuff, and then the movies are slowly but surely starting to go more space bound. I mean, the next one is Thor: Love and Thunder, so we're going to be introducing the gods and stuff, and more universes possibly, depending on if Gore is going multiversal or just staying in this universe and destroying all the gods within this universe. So and then you got Guardians coming up, and Quantum Mania, next year? Oh, Wakanda Forever too. I forgot about that.
Oh, jeez.
That's at the end of the year. What are they going to do that's going to tie into this? I mean, I know it's going to be more of an isolated story, but
it's probably going to be more back on the timeline, because like I feel like, same thing with Moon Knight, same thing with Falcon, all that. It's like Wakanda's a separate thing. I wonder if this is all happening. Love and Thunder, like he's probably out and about. I mean, we're going back to Earth. We're gonna go see him back in New Asgard.
True, New Asgard. Yep.
So, but like, is there nothing going on there? It's just so interesting to see like where they fit in those stories. Like they have to kind of work backwards. It's like I mean, look at Black Widow, which is like they were still talking about Age of Ultron or whatever. I'm like, man, we know the story. We don't have to go back here and talk about this. So how far are they going back? Like, we must not even realize, how far they're going back.
They must be going slow with this then. They must be going slow with this, because Phase 4 might not end with the Fantastic Four. It might end with the movies after like Quantum Mania and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So we know it's going to be a while before the next Doctor Strange 3 movie, or even Spider-Man 4 movie, which kind of introduced the multiverse type aspects. I'm thinking in between that time, we'll probably get a Loki season 2. Between that time period, between us seeing Fantastic Four. I got to look at the movie timeline, because Fantastic Four is the last one in Phase 4, because Fantastic Four is after Quantum Mania.
No, because they switched the dates for like the Marvels and Quantum Mania. So
that's right. I forgot about the Marvels.
So Quantum Mania is coming first now, before the Marvels.
That's right.
And that's a whole other thing there too.
That's right.
So so that's another one you gotta like.
Which could introduce Nova.
Probably. unless they do
for
it.
Guardians.
Well, yeah, because Guardians they leak those outfits and they kind of look like
Oh, I saw. Yes, right. That's right.
and
That's right. With the star. Yep.
and they're like kind of
Yep.
like Nova Corps outfits. So I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's going to be a thing. Like, oh man, like there is so much.
Yeah. And where does the Eternals fall in this? Like, it raises. Secret Wars is going to be a while. I think it's going to be another year or
It's
two,
got to be. That's the next
at least.
end game level event. Like that's going
Yeah.
to be huge.
That's going to be a two-parter at
It's
least.
got to be. It's got to be.
Like Infinity War Endgame type thing that like goes hand in hand. So what movies did they announce that leads into any of those things outside of like Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four, Quantum Mania.
Yeah. Quantum Mania.
Like they could.
The quantum realm is very specific.
Right. But if they're teasing Kang in that, like that's going to be.
Yeah, that's when they're introducing him like officially, like the big bad for the MCU.
But the question is, what version? That's the thing too. It's like, what version are we getting? It's
Franklin Richards, the Pharaoh, the Egyptian Pharaoh one. Like, there's so many versions. They won't do the Iron Lad one. They won't do that one because he's a good guy. They could though. They could.
Oh yeah, and where does Secret Invasion lead in all this too?
Oh, true. That too. Okay. So it's funny you say that. Was it the Skrulls? In Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers, there's a scene where they're fighting the Beyonders and they're getting their butts kicked. Because the Beyonders are the ones that like wipe out the Celestials. Like easy. They even wipe out these cosmic entities. There's a scene where Ant-Man is going through and finds his like true north and like finds a way to like navigate to the multiverse to find out how these incursions were started. And he comes across like the Beyonders just wiping out Celestials like it's nothing, and these cosmic entities, eternity, and all of them, and wiping out universes. But anyway, I want to say the Skrulls was no, they weren't. I don't know, but anyway, the Avengers, the New Avengers, and a couple of other space entities are all joined together and are fighting the Beyonders. So that could be where the Skrulls come in to help out this massive battle, maybe even against Kang if they're not introducing the Beyonders, maybe to help them out. But what are the Skrulls trying to do though? Aren't they? I gotta look it up
because
now.
right now in MCU they're
good, right?
They're posted up with Nick Fury in space,
right?
We haven't seen that.
You got Sword. You got Sword in space.
Yeah, and we haven't seen that in forever. We don't know what they're doing. Because what movie was that the end credit scene for? That's Spider-Man Far From Home.
That was Captain Marvel.
That he was in space with the bare feet?
I thought it was.
I think it was.
No, it was.
Far From
It
Home?
was the second Spider-Man.
Far From Home.
It was the second Spider-Man.
Yeah, because they had a scroll posing as Nick Fury and all that.
Yep. It was the second one. It was the second Spider-Man.
So that's another insane.
Where's Sword? Yeah,
insane
where's
Sword?
Sword?
Like the scrolls themselves. It's like that's an insane threat right there. On top of everything else, if they're going to turn heel or if they really are going to stay good guys. And yeah, we haven't seen Sword since
Far From Home.
No, WandaVision. Not WandaVision.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
WandaVision.
yeah.
So Sword was big on that.
That's right.
And and they had like the secret dealings with hiding Vision's body and all that. What else are they up to? It's like there are so many little dots that we keep forgetting about, that they're like so deep in the drawer.
Watcher, Nuatu, the Watcher,
which we got big in What If.
The thing is, he would have stepped in the ongoings of Multiverse of Madness.
True.
He would have stepped in and was like, yo, you guys are causing the demise of this universe because incursions. Like, he would know about incursions. He's observed, the Watchers have observed many of how the universe was formed and other species and planets, galaxies, the whole nine. So he would step in and just be like, yo, you're waste. And that's why it takes me back to Original Sin and the Illuminati. Because his eyes get taken out in Original Sin. Original Sin, first thing, you see, the Watcher like died, and it's a playback, it's a replay of how it happened, and then present, people trying to find out how it happened, and then going back, and then it's all the present and the past is all leading to the conclusion, which is pretty cool. But end of the day, Nick Fury has Nuatu's eyes, so he can see threats that are coming to Earth and everything, so he can protect Earth. It's crazy. But also in Original Sin, the Living Tribunal is destroyed. And that's how you figure out the Beyonders have started. So I'm just like, Sword is there. Old Captain America is there. He doesn't have his powers. But he's a great mind. He's a great leader. So they rally around. So, and the Illuminati, they wipe his mind. I'm about to go on a tangent, but needless to say, there's a lot they can pull from. And if people are excited about where they're going, there's a ton of good resources to check out. That all kind of comes together to what they're building up to. I don't think we'll see Secret Wars for a couple of years, but they introduced a lot of stuff. And it's going to be interesting to see how they connect all these puzzle pieces that they've laid down with these movies overall, moving forward.
I think that's why they're building so much, because the Secret Wars battle alone is huge. Like, a lot of different characters in that. So I wonder if that's why they're like taking so long to build. We have your Moon Knights, you got your Lokis, you got your Vision lying around, all that stuff. So I think that's what they're doing. They're putting the team together. They're putting out the team, the players, and then eventually they'll form that army of like, we'll have that end game moment again where Moon Knight shows up, Black Knight shows up, freaking Blade will show up. All these guys, and then they'll go against like their alternate versions and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like, honestly, it could be, let's say, the conclusion of Secret Wars, and you still have to deal with King. Excuse me. You could have like 4 or 5 different variants of Thor or whatever, all going against King. So yeah, I mean, they're going to take their time. There's a lot of stuff they have to wrap up with the solo stories and these new characters that they're introducing, whether, like you said, in the TV shows with Moon Knight or in the movies, like a guy like Shang-Chi and stuff. So there's a lot that leads into, which is why the MCU is so exciting, because it's all one big, cohesive storyline with different, comic books that all lead to an omnibus when you bring it together and stuff. So that is pretty cool. It's just going to take some time, but I am very interested. We know Feige had came from a retreat for CinemaCon to introduce Multiverse, because they showed the first 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, and they were talking about their slate of movies for the year and stuff. And then he went back to the retreat because they're planning out the next 10 years for the MCU. So I know they're working on it, and I know they're going to have a plan. So, and that's probably why there was reshoots for Doctor Strange. You know, maybe stuff changed in the plan, and they're like, "Hey, we can do this." So it's going to be interesting to see. But I don't know. Multiverse of Madness felt like a trailer for what's to come, and I could see it. It kind of felt like a contained story with Strange and Wanda having character arcs, but at the same time, I was more excited about the other stuff that they introduced more so than those character arcs for those two characters, honestly.
Yeah, man. I think it's in good hands. Like, final thoughts here, man. It's like, I always kind of bash them before I hear it. You know what I mean? Like, you guys heard me on Spider-Man for weeks. I was like, this is going to be terrible. I love Spider-Man so much, and they're going to mess it up. And I walked out of the theater. I'm like, we're here.
It's finally.
Like, Spider-Man's here. Like, we had to go through a lot of hoops, but we're doing. But it looks like they're doing it on a bigger scale now, where like they changed Spider-Man and made him the Spider-Man we want. And you mentioned before that we find out that Doctor Strange, we're starting to get the one we want.
Yeah.
And so I think the MCU as a whole is going to become the MCU we truly want.
Yeah.
After this decade ends, like we're going to be old men when they're like, finally they did it. They finally did the books I want.
We got the X-Men and Inhumans all fighting each other and stuff. Finally, or whatever.
I'm over here dribbling on my porridge and like finally get to see X-Men. There it is.
With my bad hip.
Yeah, that's the last thing I see is a good X-Men movie. Yeah, man. All in all,
agreed.
I'm very excited for what is to come.